All I can ever be to you is the darkness that we know, and this regret I got accustomed to. Once you walked the ride when we were at our height, waiting for you in the hotel.
Soul music has been around for over 50 years, and it can easily sort of turn into your parents' music. To a lot of younger people, they hear Motown or Stax, but it's been sort of whitewashed to the point that it really is a very squeaky clean, your mom's music thing. Amy Winehouse reminded everybody that there's a lot of grit to it.
He walks away, the sun goes down, he takes the day, but I'm grown.
She was a star, and then Back to Black happens, and it's just like mega. A tear star on their own. Me and my friend and I, Sarah, we listened to that when she broke up with her boyfriend again and again and again.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you.
You need some people to make a couple hits before you can really get successful in a genre that's not exactly the most popular thing at the moment. I mean, Adele has, just gone above and beyond with the amount of success she's had.
In Adele's song, Someone Like You, your mother or your grandmother or grandfather or dad could listen to that and be totally moved by it and not feel like, oh my God, this is some young people's type music. But young people listen to it and they feel that it's theirs.
There was never any front or polish to someone like Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse was just who she was. There's no front to Adele either, and that's something really that I think America embraces, the fact that there's no polish on these people. They're just great singers with great personalities that people love. And Emeli Sandé is definitely not that same character. She's very private.
Next to me, you'll find him next to me.
Emeli Sandé, I think the fun fact everyone knows is that her real name is Adele.
I'd never met another Adele in my life until Adele came out.
She was already a superstar in the UK by the time they brought her over here, and she may enjoy dancing, but she doesn't dance, she wears pants. She's not a Kesha, she's not a Katy Perry.
The UK is it's so small compared to here, but it's a big place and there's so many different types of people there, so I was really happy to be able to focus on one place at a time, and so happy that people back at home have really connected with the album, and it's been such a success over there. And now I feel it's the right time to come over here and start trying slowly to hopefully do the same thing over here.
Down low, make up for the time you've wasted.
So Daly leaves Manchester to go to London to make it big in the music industry. So he figures he's going to try it out. He does performances wherever he can. And then Damon Albarn's wife actually sees him, and before you know it, boom, he's on the track with the Gorillaz.
So you confess to all the ways you deceive.
The music I make definitely always has soul at the core, and it's something that when I write from a very honest place and hopefully a very relatable place. In terms of where it is musically, it's definitely inspired by music from the past and the things that I've been influenced by and inspired by. But I really want my music to feel of its time and even a little futuristic.
Daly has a record, Remember Me, with Jessie J. He's not quite comfortable doing the pop dance record, but his voice comes through loud and clear. You can see he has talent. You can see that there's something deep to him as an artist, and he has really thick influences.
Jessie Ware was literally one of those moments where I heard Wildest Moments and I literally did a Who's That Girl, my head whipped around.
I've been asked this question quite a lot, so I have been able to learn how to concisely describe my music. It's hard, but I like to describe it as British electronic soul.
Jessie Ware to me is a super modern, because she's so young, she's this really super modern sort of British soul singer where she loves Big Pun and she's sampling him, and you're like, that sounds like Sade, oh that sounds like Lisa Stansfield, and there she is in a crop top whatever, running through the Italian countryside in her videos and stuff.
I hope people are kissing and having sex to my songs.
I do not know what it is with UK artists right now that's, causing us to kind of almost take over a lot of different territories around the world.
When I see something like Vegas Girl coming from Conor Maynard, you look at it and you can see that there's some positioning for Justin Bieber's role. But there's something also different. He's kind of caught in between Justin Bieber and Justin Timberlake. This is a guy who could sing great, he's a great talent, and he gets thrown into a place to figure out, what am I supposed to do here?
I was introduced to Conor Maynard through an insult, actually. A friend of mine hit me up and said, yo, you seen this little white dude, this little British white dude that's online singing your song better than you? I looked it up, and sure enough, he was singing Beautiful Monster. And the thing that got me right away was just his tone. We have a duet on his album called Turn Around that's making moves in the UK.
My kind of inspirations were from more mature R&B artists. So for me, I feel like I knew in my head it was going to be something that was quite mature and something that an older audience could definitely listen to as well.
Olly Murs, to me, I see a very like Bruno Mars. It's like, even if he's not wearing a fedora, he's wearing a fedora.
The song Troublemaker isn't really what I'm like, okay? The song is about what a girl is like in my life. I mean, I could probably be a bit of a troublemaker when I want to be.
Olly Murs was a working class guy from England, went on their version of the X Factor and just wowed everybody in the audience. Came on stage, the place went crazy. Even Simon, who's, as we all know, is always cranky, loved every minute of that performance. He was kind of a star from the first minute that he got on camera.
Well, it was lunchtime, so before I came to this interview, I did pop to the pub. It was the Cock and Bull I saw in the middle of New York City. Olly
Murs to X Factor in England is sort of like Kelly Clarkson is to American Idol here in America. Maybe he would have been a star without it, but that is what made him a star immediately.
In the UK, there's a real sort of one set of celebrities that everybody's talking about, and they're on the front of all the newspapers. And I think X Factor really provides that kind of pub conversation, like people go to pubs on a Sunday, have a pint and talk about who was on the X Factor last night, who cried on the X Factor.
Definitely the talent shows are something that is, almost mass exposure for really kind of old tracks that the judges put upon the younger artists. A lot of them have their weeks where it's like Michael Jackson week or like the Bee Gees week. It also allow people that are watching to hear songs that maybe they hadn't heard before and be like, oh wow, this song's amazing.
In general, England loves American soul and blues and R&B music. They've always been a little bit obsessed. I always love what's on their pop charts because I feel like they have a lot of good stuff.
I think in terms of specifically British soulful music, I just maybe feel like it's a time where, for a long time, places outside America were just trying to emulate what America was doing.
In over maybe the past 5-6 years, there has been this new wave of people my age are inspired by a lot of the R&B scene, maybe early 2000s, and then slowly just kind of mixing that with our own sound in the UK, and there's a real space for genres to kind of mix over there.
I mean, I don't know why it's happening. All I know is my experience is that I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So I guess I'd probably agree a bit with Emeli Sandé. That's the influence, and I think there's an openness and an honesty with soul and R&B.
Again, I'm sure most of the artists involved, it's just none of them sound the same. Amy doesn't sound like Adele, doesn't sound like Emily, doesn't sound like me. So I think it's still a very personal thing. It's not like everyone's part of the same genre. It's just bringing a bit of feeling back to the music, I think.